ripples, swell, door, gate, chambers, sediment, perception. Your friends or your family rented a cottage by a lake. They have a surprise for you. They wrote something special for you on some rocks and pebbles, and they dropped them in the lake, maybe a couple of feet deep. It should be a sweet surprise when you see it. You show up, a nice drive and beautiful scenery, beautiful cottage, and equally beautiful lakeside. On the way, something happens. Someone says something, and it bothers you. It bothers you to the extent that you're quite disturbed. So, we will now use the example of the stones in the water to depict what is actually happening. For us, or for you, to be able to read what is written on the stones, the surface of the lake should be flat. The water should be still. But there is now ripples. There is some chop on the surface now. And it's difficult to see the bottom. Those ripples that is stopping you from being able to read what's written for you in the bottom of the lake is a perfect description of your ego. This is why we are disturbed. This is what happened on the way while driving to this beautiful location with friends or family. Someone said something and it bothered your ego. It bothered your persona. We somehow adjust and we don't react. We stay quiet. We know we are angry and we know we should not be saying things that come to our mind when we are emotional, when anger has risen inside of us. So we manage that situation. We stay calm. We don't say anything. We handle it. We handle ourselves. We let it be. Eventually, as we calm down, the chop fades away. And after all the ripples slowly subside, just like our emotions and our anger. And the lake's surface is flat as it can be, just like a glass. And we're able to see the stones that they placed. Kind of looks like our name or something, but there are things written on them. But still, we notice that there is some sediment in the bottom of the lake, which is blurring our vision, which is not allowing us to read what our family has written for us. We can't read the message. So we did a good job handling our emotions, our anger. And what is this sediment about? How come, now that we're calm, we still can't read the message? A lake, by nature, not like a running water, be it a river, has built up sediment in it. When the sediment gets disturbed or gets shaken, the water loses its clarity. And for us to be able to read what's written, the water needs to be clear. The same is with our emotions, with our feelings. We were able to manage the anger on the surface, but There are feelings deep inside, maybe from a long time ago, going back to our childhood, in interactions with our parents, our siblings, at school, at grade school, with our peers. And those feelings and emotions, just like the sediment at the bottom of the lake, get stirred up. We don't know what's happening. It's usually never what happened at that moment. It is what it triggered from the past. What emotions, what scars it touched from the past. So those feelings and emotions are going to pull us left and right. If we hold one door, they will enter from another door. If we close all doors, they might come in from the roof. They are actually out of our control. Therefore, very, very difficult to deal with. The only tool or aid we have to combat such strong currents within us is compassion. This is the key that unlocks the door of our heart, so that our heart fills up with compassion. The key on the door is compassion. And once we're able to show compassion, the doors open, the floodgates open, and eventually love will swell up in our heart and fill all the chambers and start to overflow. With this, only with this, are we able to overcome those maybe not so identified, maybe not so known forces, fears, wounds deep inside of us. This is what takes care of it. And eventually, when we are able to show and give compassion, the sediment that's stirred up in the bottom of the lake finally will settle down, and the water will be clear from the top all the way to the bottom, and we will be able to read the message our loved ones wrote for us. Otherwise, what is the alternative? With our ego pulling us from the top, the example of the top of the lake with the ripples and the chop, and our deep wounds and feelings and emotions stored deep inside of us, stirring up the sediment, how can we ever see anything clearly? How can we see what the message is so that we can address it? Sometimes it's a loving message from friends and family. Sometimes it's a message at work. Sometimes it's a problem that we need to solve. But if we're not able to read any message, if we don't have clarity, we don't even know what the message is. We're busy because we got disturbed. We are so busy with our ego's pull and urges in us that push us left and right. The deeper emotions stored from long, long time ago. Before we act, before we go forward, clarity in anything in life is a must. We need to be able to have the clarity, see clearly, to know what to do next, to know how to go ahead, to continue in our life.